All right, so for a little while now, honestly, since like my senior year in high school, I've been making some money on the side from selling artwork of mine. Whether that's doing freelance commission work for strangers or just selling one-off pieces of mine. I thought it would be nice to answer a lot of questions I get frequently on how I kind of transitioned into starting making money off my artwork. Something I want to convey is that I feel like anyone could really make money off their creativity regardless of what your trade is or what you're interested in or your skill level. You know, we're in the 21st century, so I feel like it's crazy to not be posting stuff online, just, seeing if you have any shot at profiting from what I consider something to be very fun. I'm sure if you're watching this video, you also agree. So regardless, I get a lot of questions of how I got started actually making money off my artwork and finding clients and stuff like that. And so I thought it'd be nice to make a longer form video like this, where I discussed some of the stuff I did to start off, some of the mistakes I made. So anyways, I was thinking about it for a while. I took some notes and I developed 3 steps, which I think if you follow, you'll be able to at least get your foot in the door and start seeing if creating artwork for profit is for you, basically. All right, so the first thing you're gonna wanna do if you're gonna make artwork for profit is figure out, 1, what kind of artwork you wanna make. Honestly, this can be anything, whether it be, digital illustration, physical, like drawings, sketches, oil paintings. You could do digital paintings. You could work with clay, woodworking. I feel like this really applies to anything, not just because I do cover art and digital illustration. I don't think it just applies to that, but that's definitely the area that I have the most expertise in. Not to say I'm an expert in any capacity. Regardless, so you're gonna want to choose your medium, and don't think too much about this. You don't have to, be a highly trained professional. You can switch whenever you want. There's total flexibility because you're your own boss. You can do whatever the fuck you want. Something to consider though when you're getting started is there's gonna be a different kind of barrier for entry for different mediums. And what I mean by that is, for instance, if you wanted to get started selling oil paintings or something, that's awesome, that's super fun, and it's a great learning experience, but it's very expensive to buy oil paints, to buy nice canvases, and also to ship oil paintings correctly is extremely expensive. So just stuff like that is worth considering beforehand. And then on the opposite side of the spectrum, you could get into digital artwork or just drawing in a sketchbook, and you could post prints online for free on a couple of various websites. So that's something I definitely recommend looking into if you want to just dip your toes in, is maybe finding a print website where you can just offer a percentage of your profits to the website in exchange for them basically hosting your prints and doing all of the manual labor of shipping out the prints and printing them and etc. I can't remember the name of the website I even use. Here, let me look at it real quick. Oh, InPrint. So yeah, I definitely recommend InPrint. They take a lot of the money, but it's totally passive. Like, you can just post your images to InPrint and people can go to the website through your link and they can buy your prints. You get some money, they get some money. It's no work for you. But regardless, I'm kind of getting ahead of myself there with step 1. What really is important though is just figuring out what you want to start producing. Step 2, or the second thing you're going to want to figure out, is what your niche is, or in other words, what your target market or your audience is, like who you're selling to specifically. I think a good way to think about this is almost envisioning a specific person in your head that's your ideal customer. So for me, it would be someone very similar to myself, very interested in music, in clothing, in certain aesthetic styles. All of this should play into the type of artwork you create. It's good to be as specific as possible when you're targeting a niche. So for example, my specific niche, I would say I'm targeting with my artwork, is the underground rap community. It's good to be as specific as possible, and it's a relatively large community even for a niche, but it works well because there's a lot of smaller figures in the community that you can easily correspond with and do collaborations with, and it just allows for a lot more seamless entry into a community as opposed to not having a specific target and just kind of throwing shit at the wall and seeing what sticks. I feel like a good analogy is if you're in a stadium crowded of 10,000 people, it's not going to be easy to get anyone's fucking attention, but if you're in a room with 15 or 20 people, it'll probably be easy to get everyone's attention pretty quickly. So that's why I think it's important to get as narrow and focused as possible with your target market. And That being said, the more focused and narrow that market is, the more you're going to be able to cater your content specifically to them. So the more effective it will be, hopefully, in the long run. All right, so at this point, you know what kind of art you're gonna make, and you have your market, so you know who you're targeting, you know what they like, what they're interested in. So the third step here is going to be to just throw as much content at them as possible. Not necessarily spamming them, because I know the algorithm at this point, because every artist has to be a fucking social media influencer today. The algorithm promotes, as much fast-paced content as possible, posting as much as possible. At the end of the day, that's not really an option for a lot of people, and not to mention it's not really going to lead to success for a lot of people, because it doesn't really promote quality. It just promotes fast-paced quantity and like holding your attention span. So I think the best bet is to make as much high-quality content for your target market as you can produce consistently. And what I mean by that is, if you can post every single day consistently for the rest of your life, and you can do a piece of art for every day, by all means do that. But that's not sustainable for most people. Often you'll do art every single day for a week, and then you'll see someone burn out and not be able to uphold their posting schedule or something like that. So it might be a lot more successful for you if you pick a posting schedule or production schedule that you can stick to, whether it be twice a week you're posting content, or you're updating your website, or whatever it might be. Also, in this stage of just producing content for free, basically for the internet, but hoping that you get some leads via whatever social media platforms you're posting on, what you're going to want to do is hopefully leverage as many free marketing opportunities as possible. Just to use myself as an example immediately, like for something like this is like fan art is something a lot of people do, like myself, for artists or musicians or whatever it may be. And in a perfect situation, maybe they'll like it, maybe they'll repost it even on their account, maybe they'll give you a little bit of traction via that can lead to commissions, that can lead to you selling prints on your website that you have linked, whatever it may be. Alternatively, another thing is you can participate in different competitions. Like a lot of artists will do draw this in your style. Regardless of what platform and what revenue you're taking to post this media, the real important thing is just being consistent, so that the potential audience of the media, so that the potential what's really most important, regardless of whatever platform you happen to be using, is just to be as consistent as possible. If you're able to upload consistently and have a consistent, platform where your audience can find you and rely on you and expect you to, message them back and get right back to them, and it feels like they have a personal connection to you, that's only going to add to their wanting to support you as a person. If they know that you're going to be there to respond to them, it's only going to add to their respect for you and their trust in you. And that's only going to lead to them feeling comfortable. That's only going to lead to them supporting you and feeling comfortable actually giving you their money in the first place. Anyways, this is just like a really loose framework for how I've gone about making money off my artwork. I think the biggest thing you want to take away from this is be specific with your audience and be consistent. Those would be my two biggest bullet points. But again, this is just my personal experience, and this may not work for you. This may work wonders for you, but the only way to progress and actually start doing it is to just dip your toes in and make the first step. So I hope this helps some people. And anyways, have a great day. Peace out.